Hello and welcome back to Getting Handsy. This is Bob Bosk. Today I'm going to show you the Patreon I printed out this month. This one is called Diverging Realm. They make some fairly intricate sci-fi models, kinda in the style of 40k. This month they have some like exo-mech suits, some armored warriors with shields and either flails, swords, or like flamers. And then last there's some alien type warriors, I guess, with guns. As with previous months, I tried to print one of everything, and with these models they came as a builder so you could mix and match pieces, but I don't typically like printing that way because I don't like to glue things together. So I went ahead and put all the pieces together and just made a bunch of generic characters out of it. Basically I just put head one on body one and so on and so forth. That allowed me to just print out full one-piece models then. And here are all the printed pieces. But Bob, you say, these are hard to see. Don't worry, I got you. We're trying something new this month. I've primed all of the models in black and a couple in white just to see if you could make out the details better. So these are the alien apostle warriors. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name because I'm terrible at that. Everything except for the big turret thing I put on 25mm bases. They're about the size of, I guess, like Eldar or I guess maybe Tau. The models have good detail, and I don't think I had any problems printing them. Here are the Sentinels and Penitents. These are those armored warriors with shields, flails, swords, or these like flamers. For the most part, they printed really well. I just had two minor issues. One was some of the arms came really small. It seemed like just an accident when they were being exported. I just upscaled them and they worked. And then the only other issue is a couple of the shields had some flipped normals, and so rather than fixing them, I decided to try and print them. So there's the difference. I think both of them look fine, so it's not too bad. Now I did prime a couple in this white because I wanted to try some new paint that I got. That'll be at the end of this video. I may have gone a little bit overboard with the white primer though, because they're a little bit, I guess, stickier than the black ones were, and I think it just kind of, I think there's a little bit too much on there, is just it. I put all of these on 32mm bases. And last we have these Coven Exo frames. And these had this really cool weapon, this Psi Cannon. It's actually got like a psychic and a tank behind it, which it's kind of hard to see, but it's a really cool idea. I did have just a couple minor issues with these weapons. Basically the shaft is just a little bit too small. It was kind of breaking. Besides that, I really like the look of everything. They're really cool. The only other issue I had was my own fault. I'm missing a head because it didn't get connected somehow when I was putting them together in Mesh Mixer. And I forgot to add a couple shoulder pads, but I can always print those out later. I just didn't have time. Oh, there was one more minor issue with these tanks. Both of them failed. That piece right there came off from the actual barrel on each. But they printed fine besides that. They just came apart. These are on 50mm bases. So that's an assortment of the models you can make from the Patreon this month for Diverging Realm. I believe this is only the second month I've subscribed to them, but if they keep up with this quantity and quality, I think it's a pretty good deal. Now, as a final little side note, I've been hearing about these speed paints from Army Painter, so I got some and decided to paint up one of the models from this month. I just picked some random colors that I thought might look good, but I had no idea what they would look like on the actual model. I also didn't know how the paints would work, so I'm just kind of messing around. The idea of just being able to use one coat and get all of the different shades, I suppose, the darks and the lights, is just, it's a fascinating idea. And it's a really neat, I guess, new painting technology, I guess you'd call it. So my understanding is you had to prime them white, otherwise the colors won't show up, which makes a lot of sense, but so that's why I primed a couple in white to see what I could do. This first color was called Sand Golem. The picture on the bottle showed that it would be kind of like a light tan color. It ended up being a little bit darker than I thought it would, but it works. I then switched to this dark green called Absolution Green for like the armor. I thought that would be a neat balance with that tannish brown color. And as per usual in my house, no place is safe from the cats. One thing I will say is that I think I used more of this paint. Like at a time it didn't seem to cover as much, which since you're only using one coat, I guess kind of makes sense that it would use more. Now after I got the green on all the armor, I switched to what was called hardened leather, which looked like a dark brown, but when I actually put it on the model, it looked basically the same as the tannish color. So I'm not sure if they should have been different or if I did something wrong or what, but I used that for like the little straps and dangly bits. I let it dry for a bit and then tried a second coat just to see if that would make it a little bit darker. It kind of helped, I guess, but still wasn't as good as I'd hoped. So I moved on to using some slaughter red on the edge of the shield, I guess, around the edge. Thought that might be cool. Technically, I probably should have colored the center of the shield the same green as the armor, but I tried to do something else with this different green. It was called Plasmatic Bolt. It's not that it's bad, it's just I think it's too light for the color scheme. I decided to then tie in the hilt of the sword to the shield with that slaughter red. Same with the scabbard for the sword. And then, not that you can see it much, but I also made this like faceplate in there red. Everything else, I believe, is just Gravelord Gray. It's just this dark gray color. Tried to make it, I thought it would be kind of metally, but it turned out alright, I guess. So besides some poor color choices, I actually think this mini turned out pretty good, and it seemed significantly faster than any of my other painting. This whole thing only took about 25 minutes, I think, and that was me slowing down to try and, video it. So as a first experience with the speed paints, I think it went pretty well. So there we have it. That was Diverging Realms Patreon or Tribes for this month. A lot of cool stuff in there. I would go recommend checking them out. So who would you like to see next month? Comment down below. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.